Impact Driven Entrepreneur, episode 47, How to Raise Your Income When Servicing Clients is Taking Up a Lot of Your Time. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur, the podcast that helps you expand your reach and convert that reach into clients so you can lead your tribe with confidence and create change in the world while living the life you desire. And now your host, certified business coach and consultant, Mariana Ruiz.
Welcome back to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur. Today I have a very special episode for you. My sister called me on a whim yesterday and offered to take my kids over to my parents' house in Boston. We live about 4 hours away. And she took my kids. So I am alone. My husband is traveling today. So I have the whole day to myself. It's an amazing day in my world because I never really have time alone. And so I was like, what can I do today? And I was like, I want to record some extra podcast episodes and really just take it easy. I have some finalizing of taxes to do. But in general, just enjoying the peace and quiet in my home. I am a huge introvert, so I love the quiet. So I wanted to record this episode because Megan, who is new to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur community. Now, if you don't know, if you're not a part of the community, if you don't know about the community, come and join us. It's at bit.ly/impactdrivenentrepreneurs with an S at the end, or just go to my website, impactdrivenentrepreneur.com, and right there, there's a button right in the middle for join the community. But in either case, the community is a super great place. And Megan was a new member who in her welcome questionnaire had said she's really struggling to have the time to service her existing clients and yet increase her income. And this, when she said that, my heart just really felt for her because I have been at that exact same crossroads. I, had filled up my coaching practice and I wanted to get to that next level of income. However, between my kids not having enough time and trying to service all these clients, I really just felt like I couldn't get out of this weird rut. And what I've discovered over the last couple of years has been that we have several levers that we can really utilize when we are stuck in this situation. And this is one of my favorite problems to help people with right now because it's all about scaling. It's all about things that I am absolutely obsessed with, like systems, which I did a podcast episode on last week. And it's really, really something that you can make a huge impact on if you're using these levers. Now, how I want you to think about these changes and these levers that I'm going to talk about in this episode is I want you to think of them as tools that you will implement over the next 3, 6, 9, and 12 months, okay? You cannot come into your business and implement all of them today, okay? If you do, they'll probably not work or they just won't be as effective. And so really sit down and strategize and say to yourself, when am I going to implement this strategy? What will the time frame be? Who will be responsible? And all of that stuff. So I'm going to walk through each of the levers. I'm going to review Megan's case with you so that you know and are up to date on what the whole story is. And if you or, if you're Megan or anybody else listening who's in a similar situation, please reach out. This is, like I said, one of my favorite things to help people with. So let's dig right in.
Megan is a website designer.
She takes about a week to service each client, like if she was to go straight at it from, beginning to end with the whole website design. Right now, her business is generating anywhere from $3,000 to $4,000 a month, but her goal is to get to $7,000 a month. And so she's, wanting to just about double that $3,000 to $4,000 a month. The income has been consistent, but not consistent enough for her to feel like she can really bring in a VA or somebody to support her. And sometimes, as she's going, moving people through the sales cycle, what happens is some people are like hot and cold. Like they will start to say that they want to, they're ready to get their website designed, and then all of a sudden they'll like put it on the back burner and really struggle to close right away. So she's afraid of taking on more than 3 to 5 people at a time, because if they were to all be needing her support in 1 week, she just wouldn't be able to have the turnaround time on that service. So again, like now you can really see the full picture of what's going on with Megan. And she said she's spending a lot of time between like checking in and following up with clients. Sometimes when a project or a client will start, sometimes it'll take a while before they get all of the copy or all of the pictures to her. And so that delays the project. Okay. These are all really important things that I'm going to share with you as far as the levers that we're going to use and how we're going to work on solving this problem. Okay, so now you understand Megan's story, where she is, and now let's talk about what are the levers, what are the things that she can really utilize to increase her income, get herself to the next level financially, and solve some of the, the issues around time servicing clients and time working on her business, and really being able to take on more clients than she currently is with the struggles that she's having right now. Okay. So the first thing that I want you to consider, and this goes for Megan or anyone listening, one of the first things that you want to always consider is your pricing structure. So if you were to charge more per client, you would be able to reach that, 7,000 mark. Now, that sounds so much easier said than done, doesn't it? It's like, well, of course, Mariana, like just add some zeros, right? And everybody listening who has ever raised their rates and is a really heart-centered and impact-driven entrepreneur kind of knows that it's easier said than done, right? And so how I want you to think about your price raise is a couple of things. You're going to improve the service that you're going to give. So I'm going to talk about that in a second, because that's another one of the levers that you can utilize. The other thing that I want you to think about is how much time have you been in this, right? How experienced are you? It's not like you're not bringing in clients and therefore you have a lot of experience, a lot of testimonials, a lot of case studies, and you have demand for your program, product, and service, right? So for a case like this, what I usually say is, it's totally appropriate for most of the people that are in this situation to raise your prices, even though it can feel scary. And so we need to work through the thoughts that are, preventing us from being able to get to that next price level. And I saw a coach the other day say something on their Facebook profile, which was something like, my client came in and she was charging $5,000 and couldn't sell anything. And that was her struggle. I'm struggling to sell a $5,000 program. And now her problem is I'm struggling to sell a $10,000 program. And I thought to myself, that is so still the same problem. You still don't have money, right? And so that is totally not the case here. Like, you are bringing in clients, right? And you're not just doubling your rate for the sake of it, and you don't even have to go there. How I like to usually do price increases is like 25%, something that feels doable and is still going to allow you to feel really confident when you're selling it, and that it really still feels like a huge value add for them, and is also a fair exchange for you for where you are in your business and for the level of expertise that you provide, as well as for the time and the demand that you currently have. Okay. So it's, again, not to say that it's a totally different story if you don't have demand. If you don't have demand, don't go and double your price. Like, that is not an appropriate time to increase your prices. However, if you have the demand, if you have the volume, even if you kept that, even if not all of those people bought from you, and let's say you did double your price and half the people, came and bought from you, guess what? That still frees up your time so that you can focus on another offer or something more leveraged, which we're going to get into in a minute, because that's another way that you can, another lever that you can press. Okay. So essentially, yes, I want you to raise your price. No, we're not going at this haphazardly. it's super important that you are able to communicate the value of what you sell. And so if you need support with that, that's one of my favorite things to work with people on, which is the marketing side and the sales side, right? And so you have to just be really good at communicating the value of what you do, but you have demand, and therefore I don't see the price increase to be just like throw some zeros on it. Okay. This is really an intentional move, and it can be incremental. If you'd like it to be, you can do 25% and then in 3 or 6 months do another 25%. So that's one lever you can use, is the pricing. The other lever you can use is the sales process. So it sounds like what's happening in your sales process is that people are getting cold feet in the sales process, and then that's when they go cold. And this is super common in sales, for you to have a time or a moment in the sales process where people just kind of freeze. And it's, again, absolutely normal in the sales process. It just means you're doing your job as a salesperson, as an entrepreneur, right? And so what you want to do is create a pattern interrupt. So let's say that you've been communicating with this person via telephone or via emails, and what you're going to do is kind of like shift that. And so maybe you're going to send them a personalized video that you do for them, and you share with them how excited you are to work with them, and what, maybe you give them a glimpse of what you're thinking about for their brand, right? Like something that's like a huge value add that's going to get them excited. It's going to shake up the pattern that's been going on in the sales process and remind them of why they truly want to do this in the first place. And I can also personally say, having done a rebrand, a professional rebrand, and having somebody come in and do my website, it was scary for a few things. And one of the things was, am I going to have the bandwidth to complete all of the copy and the, photos on time and all of those things? Am I going to have the bandwidth to do that level of project? Am I ready, right? Like emotionally and physically and all of that stuff for the emotional side of it. That was definitely for me. And also, like, it was an up level. So I had to like fully integrate. Like when I got the branding back, I almost felt like a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like, is this really my brand? And so I think, all of those thoughts could be what's going through your people's minds. It's just kind of that upper limit that, scared to go to the next level, but they want to, but they're a little bit afraid. And so how you can help them get over the hump is by doing a pattern interrupt. Just really remind them of why they want to do this, why moving forward now is a great idea. And if you're full and you're near capacity, you want to let them know so that they get in right away, and therefore you can get their project off the ground and, hit the ground running with them. So that is another lever that you can utilize in this specific situation where they're getting cold in the sales process. Okay. The third lever that you can use is systems and processes for onboarding. So it sounds like when a client comes on, there's a little bit of like a delay, or I don't even want to say a delay, but maybe just like they weren't realizing that they needed to come up with all this copy, and now like they're swamped with whatever other projects, and so they have to come up with the copy, but they're struggling. Maybe they struggle with wording and messaging and all of that stuff, right? So there's a couple of things you can do. Number one, you can do like a meeting with them early on if you're not already, and put it into some sort of project management tool where it's very clearly delineated. I don't know if that's a word, but like the project, the scope of the project, what their responsibilities are, when those responsibilities are due, and make sure you review that with them over the phone as well as in a project management tool, so that the project management tool is reminding them that they need to submit by X date, that kind of thing. And also, if they need support with copywriting, I would highly recommend that you partner with somebody that you can refer them to so that they can get the work done, at a high level and also on time, right? So if you can then work with a copywriter, it can sort of bridge you over that if it's something that you want to do, or if you offer copywriting services. I do have several website design clients, and some of them offer copywriting services. So whatever your gifts and strengths are, kind of work around that for your specific situation. Next lever is bringing on support. So I mentioned earlier that Megan had said, like, I'm making some consistent income, but it's not consistent enough for me to feel really, really confident bringing on like a VA that's going to be more of like a permanent person in my business. And so I have a few solutions for that. One thing you can do is you can hire a VA to do some of the tactical tasks. You can either hire them overseas in the Philippines. I did that for the first few years of my business. It was absolutely amazing and really got those tactical to-dos off of my list, including things like, posting and things like that. I would still write all the copy, but the person, my VA would post it for me. Another thing you could do is use a VA service. So it's not like one dedicated VA, but it's like through another company. And the benefit to that is like you can say, okay, well, this week I only need 1 hour. Next week I need 10 hours because I have like 5 websites due, right? And so if you're hiring one person, you're right, it's harder to do that kind of like flexible hours thing. But if you use a VA service, you might be able to get away with it and do that. So if you just Google VA services, a bunch of them come up. Same goes in, by the way, like if you're listening to this and you're like, I wonder if there's that for home. There is. I Googled one the other day and I was starting to look through it, and I haven't actually gone through and hired anybody yet, but I am really considering it. And so in my local area, there's a few different services that you can hire for little projects here and there. And so that's another great option. You can just Google VA services or Google, services at home that, to take some of that workload off from you and free you up to do the client work just on the weeks that it's feeling heavy with the client load. Oh, and then the other option that you could do, which we've done in my business and it has been absolutely wonderful, is getting an intern. And an intern is somebody that you are coaching and training, so there is some time involvement from you. However, they can really get to the point where they're doing a lot for you. They can really help you out. And of course, talk to a lawyer, talk to a professional in your state, because every state is different. I know we use interns in my business. I literally get on the phone with them multiple times a week just to make sure they're on track. I coach them, etc. And I had suggested that to one of my other clients, and she said in her state they're not allowed to take unpaid interns. And so you can do paid internships or unpaid internships for credit, depending on your state and how much you're coaching and working with them. So that is another option for you. And I think an intern, either in this case for Megan, like you could take an intern in computer science or something like that and teach them on the website development side, and that could give you support to where you're able to take on more clients because they're doing some of the development work for you. So the fifth lever that you can utilize is to really do that passive income course. So I don't know if I mentioned it in the introduction, but Megan had said one of the things that she's tried is to bring on or start to develop a passive income course. And I think this is a wonderful idea, and it's also something that everybody listening can implement. And I talk about the 3-tiered business model that I call the Thrive business model. And for me, this has worked spectacularly. Okay. And let me just recap it here in case you're new and you don't know my business model and what that's all about. So in the Thrive business model, we work off of 3 main sources of income. The first being an income source that requires your personal time. So in this case, it would be the actual development of the website. The second type of income is leveraged income. So that's where you're serving one-to-many. It would be something like a group coaching program or some sort of group of some sort. And the third type of income that you would bring in is your passive income products. And those are great because they allow you to generate income passively But here's the caveat, and here's what most people are not teaching you about passive income products. Passive income products still require marketing and sales. And so you will need to invest some time into marketing and selling of that product. You cannot create a passive income product, slap it on your website, and hope it sells. You must market and sell this product. You must have a launch. You must have a way of getting people through that sales process, whether it's automated or live. And so what I want to say about passive income products is that they are a great way to leverage your time, but don't think that it's something that is not going to require work, because it still is. And just as a warning here, for the first time that you launch this passive income product, I want you to launch it for the first time almost as a group. So you're going to sell it first, you're going to validate the idea, and then you're going to build it out with that group of founding members. That's often called a beta launch. And I think a beta launch is the absolute best way to create your first passive income product, because it allows you to validate your idea. So you're not going to be spending a lot of time on something in case it doesn't sell. And it also allows for you to do it almost as they're going through it. So it allows you to really make tweaks and make that first rendition as good as possible, because you're going through it with those first founding members. And thirdly, you can make money right away. Like, you could literally start selling it next week. So those are the reasons that I really like the beta launch, and it's a huge aspect of how I teach and how I coach my clients around. So if you need support with that, definitely reach out. That's something I do all the time. I think I have a podcast episode that I was interviewed on somebody else's podcast about a beta launch. So if you have more questions on that, I can link to that in the show notes. So to recap, there are essentially 5 levers that you can utilize if you want to increase your income, but you are drowning in client work. And the first one is pricing. You want to increase your price. You want to do it strategically and also in a really heart-centered way, and in a way that's going to allow you to actually sell that program, not just like stick zeros on the end of your price point, okay? Number 2, the sales process. So it sounds like some of your people might be getting stuck in the sales process. And so you're going to want to use a pattern interrupt to move them along the sales process. Number 3, you're going to be implementing some changes in systems to your onboarding process for your clients, so that there's not the gap there in between when they're coming on and when they are going to be giving you all the information that you need so that you can go ahead with the project. So systems and processes on number 3. Number 4, bringing on help. And that can be as little as like 1 hour a week if needed. It can be in your personal life if you feel like that would be helpful to free you up, or it can be in your business through a VA service, an intern, or a formal VA if you feel like, if you're not Megan and you feel like that's a really good investment for you right now. And the 5th one is, building out that next income stream. And so again, going back to the passive or the Thrive business model and bringing on a passive income product can really help you to leverage your time as well as continue to generate income without so much of your work. And so you would relaunch that over and over again in your business. It's not a one-time launch for something like that. So those are my tips for you if you're wanting to increase your income and you're feeling bogged down by client work. This is such a common problem and such a common intersection in your business. And just know, from my heart to yours, you can absolutely do this. This is just a glitch and you are
so capable of doing this. You absolutely got this. Okay, now if you are looking at this whole thing and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I even focus on next? Okay, so I want to give you a couple of options. If you are struggling to get clients in your business, maybe you're looking at this and you're saying my sales process needs help, like my sales process is where people are getting stuck, I'm just not sure what to do, or if you want to do a beta launch, right? Like if you're wanting to do that beta launch, both of those options, I actually help you and walk you through that inside of my 7 days to your next paying client free download. And so you're going to get a PDF with the 7 days, the steps, and I'm going to email you every day and hold you accountable, handhold you through the whole process of getting your next paying client over the next 7 days. As always, I do a little bit of butt kicking and a lot of hugs along the way. And so if you are interested in getting that, just text next client, all capital, all one word, next client to 44222. And again, you're going to get my 7 days to your next paying client download with emails hand holding you through the next 7 days of getting your next paying client or launching your beta program. You can use it for either one of those because we are going to go through the whole process as if you haven't had paying clients. But if you have had paying clients and you want to just kind of go in towards a new direction, I think that this will help you immensely. So again, text next client to 44222 and I will email you the goods and handhold you all the way till your next paying client, which you can welcome as soon as next week. As always, if you have questions or you're stuck, come and join us inside of the Impact Driven Entrepreneur Facebook group. You know, I'm going to say like every call to action here, but you know one person, just one person who is in this crossroads between increasing their income and also trying to get the time to service their clients, and they're in this intersection, please share this with them. I like I said, that was one of the hardest times in my business, was that crossroads, and I absolutely would love to help that person with this episode. So again, just message this to anybody that you know that is in this intersection between not having enough time to service their current clients and also increase their income at the same time. Send them this episode. Again, all the calls to action. I truly appreciate you being here with me and really getting these strategies that are going to increase your income, take your business to the next level, even if you're strapped with time, servicing clients, and stretched out a little bit too thin. Next week, we are going to be talking about the Facebook algorithm and what this really means for your business, how you can protect your business despite of the changes in Facebook algorithm, and what you can kind of do in this situation. So I will chat with you next week. Have an amazing day. Chat with you soon. Head on over to impactdrivenentrepreneur.com where you can find an arsenal of videos, blog posts, and previous podcast episodes to help you increase your profit and impact. Again, impactdrivenentrepreneur.com and click on blog. Enjoy.